Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unraveling a universe that is literally hiding in plain sight. Imagine walking down the street, completely unaware that a massive, hidden society of superpowered humans is operating right under your nose. Well, that's exactly what's happening in the incredibly rich universe of The Outsiders. It's this fascinating world where ancient mysticism crashes headfirst into modern corporate life, and where one remarkably ordinary college student is about to get dragged to the center of a deadly cosmic mystery. So let's just dive right in.
All right, here's our roadmap for the explainer. 1. The origin of outsiders. 2. Factions of the secret world. 3. The legend of Zhang Xilin. And 4. The target, Zhang Chulan.
Starting off with Section 1, the origin of outsiders.
Okay, so what actually separates an outsider from, just some ordinary person at the grocery store? Well, to put it simply, outsiders are just humans. They don't have alien genetics or anything like that. The sole defining standard is that they have the ability to employ this totally unique ancient energy source that commoners simply can't tap into. This energy is what allows them to manifest superpowers that just completely defy conventional logic. But that begs the question, where exactly is this energy coming from?
Get this, according to top science institutions researching the phenomenon, our universe is actually divided into two parts. Human science, with all of our cutting-edge technology, only understands and maps the observable universe, and that makes up a mere 15% of existence. That's it. The remaining 85%, that is the dark universe, which is made up entirely of unmapped dark matter.
It's a pretty wild juxtaposition when you think about it. We've got our neat, bright, scientifically governed 15% sitting right next to a vast, mysterious 85% of pure dark matter. But here's the kicker. Researchers found that the boundary between these two domains isn't some hard wall. There's actually an active interaction taking place there, and the cosmic friction between these two universes generates a highly advanced form of dark energy.
And that dark energy? Well, it turns out the ancients actually beat us to the punch. They already had a name for it. They called it Qi. So the mystical superpower behind ancient martial arts is, in reality, a highly advanced cosmic energy. Outsiders are simply people who can draw this dark energy right out of that cosmic divide and weaponize it. Moving right along to Section 2, Factions of the Secret World.
So now that we know what fuels an outsider, how do these superpowered folks organize themselves? We've got three major power players fighting for control here. On one end, there's NDT Express, which is this highly disciplined group hiding behind a courier service to maintain stability. On the total opposite end, you've got Sinister Pleasure, a totally rogue, reckless group chasing absolute freedom with zero public front. And somewhere above all that chaos sits the Celestial Taoist Mansion, a prestigious orthodox sect rooted in literally thousands of years of tradition and justice. Let's zero in on NDT Express for a second, because they perfectly blend the mundane with the mystical. On the surface, it's just business as usual, scanning barcodes, taking orders, delivering packages. But behind closed doors, they're a top-tier science institution researching the origins of Qi. They're basically the cops of the hidden world. They track every single outsider by assigning them a serial number, and they actively investigate rogue elements to make absolutely sure everyday people are never caught in the crossfire of these superpowered conflicts.
Then you have Sinister Pleasure. This faction is universally condemned by pretty much every other outsider group because they just refuse to play by any rules. Their whole philosophy is that having supernatural power means you deserve absolute freedom. And their methods? They are terrifyingly invasive. They specialize in manipulating human desires using illicit skills like thrall sorcery to control bodies or bone scraping to awaken primal urges. They can even extract memories directly from a person's primordial spirit. Because of this totally unchecked pursuit of freedom, they are incredibly dangerous and basically public enemy number one for groups like NDT.
Which brings us to Section 3, the legend of Zhang Xilin.
To really understand why these factions are at each other's throats right now, we have to unravel a massive historical mystery. Decades ago, this apocalyptic event called the Xiaoshan Calamity absolutely shook the outsider world. Then, years later, there was a brutal massacre at Mount Sigunyang where over 10 elite outsiders were just slaughtered. The suspected killer? He went into hiding in a rural village under the name Zhang Xilin, spending 12 years quietly raising his grandson. But fast forward to the present day, Zhang Xilin dies under mysterious circumstances, and shortly after, his corpse is stolen right out of its grave.
It creates this really fascinating true crime contradiction.
Because to his young grandson, Zhang Zilin was just a loving protector. He was this sweet old man who prepped pork knuckles for dinner and taught the kid to never, ever use his martial arts unless it was life or death. But to NDT Express and the rest of the outsider world, Zhang Zilin was a remorseless thug, a guy who single-handedly butchered elite experts from the most prestigious sects. These totally conflicting accounts make it basically impossible to know who the real Zhang Zilin actually was.
And that brings us to the core inciting incident of all this. Why on earth would Sinister Pleasure, a faction that is already hunted by literally everyone, risk drawing the fury of NDT Express just to dig up a rotting corpse in some rural village? Like, what value does a dead body hold for them?
The answer is honestly kind of chilling. To Sinister Pleasure, that corpse wasn't just a dead body, it was essentially a biological flash drive. By using their ability to extract memories straight from the primordial spirit, they stole the corpse so they could literally dig through his dead mind. They were hunting for the location of the absolute ultimate power in the outsider world, the Qi apotheosis.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, the target, Zhang Chulan. So, when Sinister Pleasure failed to find what they were looking for in the dead grandfather's memories, that massive target immediately shifted onto the back of his grandson, Zhang Chulan. Now, on paper, Chulan is completely unremarkable. He's just a broke, unlucky senior in college trying to get a degree in civil engineering. But in the secret world, he is the only living blood relative of the legendary Zhang Zilin. It turns out he also secretly wields the Gold Brilliant spell, which is a fiercely guarded, orthodox magic belonging to the Celestial Taoist Mansion. And because of his bloodline, the entire outsider world just assumes he is the one who inherited the Qi apotheosis.
Just to make sure we're totally clear on the stakes here, the Qi apotheosis is not just some neat magic trick. It's literally one of the 8 supremes, which are the 8 most mysterious, robust powers known to the secret world. But way more importantly, it is the ultimate key to unlocking the dark secrets behind that original Joshin calamity. It is quite literally a power worth killing for.
Because of this, Shulan's super normal, boring life is shattered basically overnight. He's suddenly being pulled in 3 directions at once. Sinister Pleasure sends their elites to ambush him, hoping to forcefully rip the memories out of his head, just like they tried to do with his grandpa. Meanwhile, the Celestial Taoist Mansion dispatches their top disciples to hunt him down for using their stolen magic, and right in the middle of it all, NDT Express intercepts him, forcing him into a job sorting packages at their courier company just so they can keep a watchful, protective eye on him.
But wait, the board is actually expanding even further. While those 3 main factions are obsessing over Chulan like he's the ultimate prize, an entirely new threat is quietly assembling in the background. High-profile outsiders are starting to go missing, retreating to this mysterious, off-the-grid location known as Buyo Village. The leader of this village, Ma Xianhong, operates with this really eerie philosophy. He looks at all the chaos and warfare between the factions and says, "Our lives are like those puppets on the stage, lost in illusions, silently enduring the manipulation of fate." It's a haunting observation, right? And it speaks so directly to Chulan's predicament. Here is a young man whose entire existence, down to the very magic his grandfather taught him, has been completely manipulated by forces so much larger than himself. Which leaves us with this final, massive question. Chulan is trapped in this wild, cosmic tug-of-war involving dark energy, true crime cover-ups, and warring syndicates. With all of these heavy-hitting factions manipulating the board, trying to pry open his mind and his past, is Zhang Chulan actually going to figure out how to break free from these illusions, or is he destined to just remain another puppet to fate? It is an absolutely brilliant setup for a story. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and hey, keep your eyes open out there. You never know who might secretly be an outsider.
Hello Hollywood movie lovers. Can you watch the story? Hey YouTube, this is my reel and I'm editing. Please subscribe this person. His name says subscribe. Okay guys, thank you.